Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to go about working with the bone tool and create simple character animations with the bone tool. So here you can see the end result of this image, and this animation was done working with the bone tool in Flash. So here goes. Okay, I'm going to close the one that I have created here. You can see it floating around in this one. But what I want to start with is giving you a sense of what it is that you need to do in order to get your file ready in Photoshop. So here goes. All right, so what I want to do when I am in Photoshop is I want to prepare my image to come into Flash. And what you'll see is this is actually a drawing that my son, my 5-year-old, created. And what I've done with this drawing is I've taken it and I have divided the different shapes into different layers. So I'm going to start turning them off. See, I have the upper right arm, lower right arm, right arm, the body, the upper right leg, the upper left arm, the lower left arm, the left foot, so on and so forth. So they all are in their own layers. Now, you're going to see in a minute why I want to do it that way, because when I bring this now over into Flash, it will work very seamlessly with Photoshop. So I open up Photoshop, and what I want to do now is I want to import this PSD file. I'm going to come to File, Import, and I'm going to find this image. I'm going to import it to the stage. It's drummer.psd. I hit Open. Okay, so what I want to do now is get this ready to animate, to work with the bone tool. Now, when you're working with the bone tool, we need to convert all of our symbols to movie clips. We need to convert our symbols to movie clips. Now, what I want to do as I'm getting ready, as I work with this though, is I'm going to keep the body, this part right here, I'm going to keep this one a graphic. So this one, I'm going to say just a graphic. And the other ones, I am going to choose them and I am going to turn them into movie clips. Again, the body I want just as a graphic. And the rest of these ones I want to be movie clips. So I can shift click them, a bunch of them. I'm going to make them bitmap with editable styles. And I can come back and look and I can tell the ones that are movie clips have this little movie clip icon. And then the graphic has this one. Now, we cannot use the bone tool on a graphic. It needs to be on a movie clip. So what I want to do is I'm going to set the stage of my Flash document to my Photoshop canvas. And I hit OK. And here goes. Now, what I can see happened here is Flash took in and put all of these different images in where they need to be. So here goes. Now, what I want to do to work with this animation a little bit more is I want to actually add some joints. I want to add I want to add a shoulder joint because without it, it will just be doing one simple animation. So let me show you what I mean here. All right, so I can come on in and I can grab my tools panel. And when I look at my tools panel, I'm going to find my bone tool. So let's take a look. There it is right there. Here we have the bone tool. Now when we work with the bone tool, we want to always start. So if I'm working on an arm, I want to start with the shoulder, right? If I started with the hand, then that would be the root of where it's attached. Okay, so I want to start up in the shoulder and I'm going to just come and I'm going to grab the bone tool and click and pull, and I can see what I've done now is I have created this one bone. I've created one bone. Now if I come to drag a bone out this way, I don't get that because it's going from one to the other. Now that's probably much all I need. What I want to do now is I can click onto my bone and I want to constrain my joints. Okay, so now what I can do next is I could come in and I can start moving this around. Up and down and moving it around. Now you might find actually if you add a joint in the middle that you do have a little bit more flexibility and different things that you can do with it. All right, so there we go. There's his arm. And we're going to try and add a joint and see how that works. I'm doing edit undo. I'm just undoing this to come back a little bit further. I'm going to show you how to do one, then I'll pause it and create the others. So what I want to do instead of doing how I just did it, is I'm going to actually add an elbow. Okay, and I'm going to do that really simply. I'm going to come in with my eyedropper. I'm going to sample this brown color, and then I'm going to just come on in to my oval tool, and I'm going to just kind of draw a shape that's going to be my elbow. Now, I need to make sure too that this shape isn't completely contained within this symbol up here. So I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. If I come to this one, I can come on in, make it just a little bit bigger, and I click again. I see 1, 2, 3. All right, so here it goes. Now, what I would do instead with this one, with the bone tool, first thing I need to do is I need to convert this symbol to a movie clip. So I click it, I come to modify, convert to symbol. I want it to be a movie clip. I can name it left. Actually, I'm viewing it. I named it by the way I was viewing it. Right elbow. I hit OK. And now I have it as a movie clip. Now what I'll be able to do is come on in and grab my bone tool. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see what happens when we get in a little bit closer. And I'm going to create a bone that begins here, comes to the elbow, and then comes to the elbow and comes on out. So I grab my bone tool, I click, I drag, I release it right there. Okay. And then I do the same. I click, I drag, I pull it out. There we have it. Now, what you'll see, and this is how it looks, whenever you do the bone tool, whichever movie clip you drag on top of, that movie clip comes to the top. Now, when you view it in the animation, that doesn't happen. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to come on in and I'm going to pause this. I'm going to add a joint right here, just as I did on the right arm. And I'm going to add a joint to these two right in here. So I'm going to hit pause for a minute and I will be right back. As I've created these different areas where there is a little joint, and I have 4 of them. So what I want to do right now is go through and create my bones, the bones. Okay, and how this works is I'm going to move this over. I come to my image, and again, I grab my bone tool from my tools panel, and I begin, I'll zoom in a little bit. I'm going to do 4 of these right now, the 2 arms and the 2 legs. I click, I pull, okay, and then again I come into this joint, I click, I pull. I come do this one, click, pull, come on into this one, click, pull. Okay, hold on for 1 minute. Try this again. So I have that one done. I'm going to click, pull down to here, click, pull down. Okay, come back to that one. All right, I come to my bone tool over in here, click, drag down, click, drag down, click, and I click. Now what we're going to see as we come on over here is that with these 4 different shapes that we have an armature for each one of these. Now, next thing we want to do is we want to insert frame. So I'm going to come out to 60 and I'm going to come to insert timeline and we're going to insert frames. Now, the armature ones, we can see that they automatically are green. They automatically are green. So what we want to do is we want to begin with this one, and let's see, that one, this one is this one right here. We click onto this one, we come on over, we take a look at our properties panel, and we're going to just keep it the default. We can say that we want it to be author time, runtime. Actually, the user on the other one would be the one who could drag and drop things. So it's actually good, especially for touchscreen technology. We're going to keep the style solid. Now, If I come in and I grab my white arrow, we can see the difference in our tools between the black arrow and the white arrow. If I click on the white arrow, I can see my properties panel. I get this next window, and I can go through and look at these different names for these different joints. So I begin with my first joint. Um, and what I want to do here is actually constrain the proportions. So this will constrain the round rotation, because it will constrain it around the joint. Okay, and now I can go to the next one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to constrain it around the joint. Now let's take a look. We begin, our image is right here. I could come to line 27 about. I could control click or right click, and I could just hit insert pose. Insert pose. Now what I would do here is I could come back in and I could start moving this. I'm going to zoom it in a little bit. We have it right like that. Now we can come on in and go to the last frame and click on in here, control click. Again, we're going to insert a pose, and we can even take this and pull it out a little bit further. Okay. All right, so let's actually view it. We can, in order to view it, we need to test our movie control. Test movie test. Okay, we can see it. I did something to the leg too. All right, let's come on back in and let's take a look at working with this leg. Somehow I must have inserted a pose in here too. All right, so we have our first one. It was that armature right in there. Now we're going to come on down to the leg. Okay, and the leg, this leg looks like that's this arm. Okay, we come on down to here, and this leg is right in here. So we begin back here, and what we want to do now is click on this and start to move it. Again, actually I didn't constrain the proportions yet. So let's do that. We click with this, we come on into our properties panel. Again, we want to click right onto the joint, and we want to hit constrain. We click on to the next joint and we constrain. And now we can come on in, and we might even want to zoom it on in. And we can take this, we can pull things up a little bit as we would like to. Okay, now I could come on in over to here and insert this pose over there. Actually, better yet, what I need to do is I need to clear the pose first. And now I come on in to here, control click, insert pose. I come to the very end here. We're going to do another one, then we'll look at the final one that I had done. Now again, whenever we create an armature, we're going to find that it will automatically be in this green. So we can come on in, we can click, we can move this back. All right, we'll control test our movie one more time. Okay, now it looks like frame one, let me fix this, because frame one here, it's out, and I don't want that out. So I'm going to come on in. Actually, what I should do first is come on into frame one, control click. Let's actually bring this on down. Let's change this posture so it's down. Again, it's a real, playing around with it to get the feel and just spending the time and making it work. Now, even when you're creating your drawings, right, you might want to, as you continue to work with these, I would say to always think about what's going to happen as you pull this around. So probably with this, if we wanted these extra limbs that we could have worked with. So even, when we get into here, and I just put this pose in. Sometimes you'll find as you start moving around, you'll get these poses even though you might not totally want them. What I could do is start moving this whole thing in, right? So it doesn't feel, so it feels like it's not so disconnected up in here. All right, let's test our movie, but hopefully you're starting to see some of the possibilities. And a lot of times it takes planning on how you're going to make all of these different components and pieces work together. So if I come on back and I come to this one right here, we can see that we have, here it is, the 4 different areas: the right arm, the left arm, the right leg, and the left leg. Uh, each one has its own bone structure, and how it results, again, we'll just take one more look at this one, is this image happening right in here. So what I've just gone over is a very simple overview of how to work with the bone tool, how we begin in Photoshop and really plan out and get our images ready to add an armature. We have the word armature, and the tool is called bone. So again, think of an armature as an underlying structure. We can take our image and change the way that it poses. So in a way, it's like sculpture, it's animation. I'll end it there. Thanks for listening.